So, to understand what is bhakti and different levels of bhakti, we need to have mercy of the Vaishnavas, mercy of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. So, as we progress in bhakti, we will understand what is what. So, by mercy, we can understand anything. So, one should know what is pure devotional service. Because these topics are very high level, one should not misunderstand what we are discussing. This lust and Krishna prema looks similar. So that rasa what devotees are undergoing, that things, this is not a basic level. This is of advanced level. These chapters what we are discussing. So we should always pray to Vaishnavas that we can understand properly, and we have to understand not everybody is doing only sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti is for only, but advanced devotees, we cannot, some devotees, they imitate pure devotees and they don't follow four regs also. If anybody who break four regs, we should not follow them. They are not advanced devotees. That is not advancement. Entire Bhagavad Gita, all Krishna spoke. So, he samsparsha bhova dukkha yone adi antavanta kaunte annateshu ramate buddha. बुद्धिमान लोग रमते नहीं इंद्रिय तृप्ति में. इंद्रिय तृप्ति में जो रमता है वो भक्ति में नहीं है. So, those who are intelligent, they never enjoy material happiness. This is first and foremost thing. Entire Bhagavad Gita is meant to smash this sense gratification and establish Krishna consciousness. So before reading this NOD, we should be very careful. We are going to learn very deeply these things. And we have already discussed also. So we'll so 15th chapter we discussed about sensual attraction, the Ragatmika Bhakti in the level of sensual attraction. Now we will discuss about Ragatmika Bhakti based on relationship. So, in relationship, we have seen one is by sensual attraction that we discussed in 15th chapter. 16th chapter, what we are discussing is based on the Ragatmika Bhakti. So another type is based on relationship. So, in that Ragatmika Bhakti are pure devotees. Before that, Raganuga Bhakta, the attitude of denizens of Vrindavan, such Nanda Maharaj Yashoda, is found ideal transcendental concept of being father and mother of Krishna, original personality of God. These are ideal devotees, means Rajabasis. Ideal devotees. Ideal, very ideal devotees. You should not think either they are male or female or anything. Because actually no one can become father and mother of Krishna, but devotee's position of such transcendental feelings is called love for Krishna in parental relationship. That is also Maya, that is Yoga Maya. To think, I am father of Krishna, I am mother of Krishna. That is Yoga Maya. Otherwise, the awe and reverence will stop that affection. So Vrishnis also feel those affection for Krishna in parental relatives. You know? So here Sambandha, Vrishnis are having Sambandha. Vrishnis at Dwarka. They are direct family relationships. Sambandha means family relationship. So the spontaneous love of Krishna is parental in the parental relationship is found both among the denizens of Dwarka and who belong to dynasty of Vrishni, among the inhabitants of Vrindavan. All three people will have this relationship. Hmm? So here, spontaneous love of Krishna as exhibited by Vrishnis and denizens of Vrindavan is eternally existing in them. You know, this affection is temporarily also can be achieved, but Vrishnis and Vrindavan Vasis, they have eternal affection for Krishna in the parental role. But if somebody has, somebody maybe, can we become like Vrishnis or Vrindavan Vasis? The stage of devotional service where regulative principles are followed, there is no necessity of discussing this love, for it must develop of itself at more advanced stages. We are not Raganuga Bhakta. We are not Ragatmika Bhakta. We are Vaidhi Bhakta. We should not tell other devotee that you are, hey Prabhu, you are in Ragatmika Bhakta. Hey Prabhu, you are in Raganuga Bhakta. Please bless me. Should not imitate. Somebody who has material attraction yet, one should not feel that we are Raganuga or Ragatmika devotee. So, for everything there is a eligibility. What is eligibility for spontaneous devotional service? Spontaneous devotional service means no regulative principles. They naturally follow it, but they are more advanced. Can somebody read this? Yellow part. Eligibility. Loudly and clearly.
Arjun Sarthi Prabhu.
Yes. Persons desiring to follow in the footsteps of such eternal devotees of the Lord as the Vrishnis and Vrindavan denizens are called Raganuga devotees, which means that they are trying to attain to the perfection of those devotees. These Raganuga devotees do not follow the regulative principles of devotional service very strictly, but by spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees, such as Nanda or Yashoda, and they try to follow in their footsteps spontaneously.
So, this is a Raganuga devotees. Raganuga means this is also a sadhana bhakti. We will discuss. So, the Raganuga devotees, they take one person, they get inspiration from that one person and they follow him. They don't follow Shastra. They don't follow Shastra, they follow that person, whatever it is. And he would like to attain that mood. You know? So they don't follow regulative principles of devotional service very strictly. मतलब क्या है, सुबह 4:30 बजे क्यों नहीं आया? वो 4:30 बजे नहीं उठेगा, उठ भी सकता, but we cannot imitate them. You know? But spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some eternal devotees of Nanda or Yashoda. They follow in their footsteps spontaneously. Are we Raganuga devotees? Huh? We are not Raganuga devotees. Right? We should never think I am Raganuga devotee. There is a gradual development of ambition to become like particular devotee, and this activity is called Raganuga. So what is the difference between Raganuga and Ragatmika? There is a material contamination yet. There is still a material contamination. So there is a gradual progress. We must always remember our such eagerness to follow in the footsteps of denizens of Raja is not possible unless one is free from material contamination. अनर्थ निवृत्ति कंपलसरी पास होना ही कंपलसरी पास होना चाहिए, तभी रागानुगा भक्ति स्टार्ट होता है. अब रागानुगा ये अनर्थ निवृत्ति हुआ नहीं, फिर भी थोड़ा काम वासना भी चलेगा और कृष्ण प्रेम भी चलेगा. So that's why Prabhupada told that Krishna consciousness and sense gratification go ill together. Krishna consciousness and sense gratification go ill together. You know? If somebody can read this, one color, one. Read one color and pause quickly.
Should I start from the blue one, brother?
This blue color.
In following the regulative principles of devotional service, there is a stage called Anartha Nivritti, which means the disappearance of all material contamination. So,
Anartha Nivritti stage, there is a purification. After that, there should not be anarthas. Somebody who has passed 5th standard, even on the 10th standard level, he should not do addition, subtraction, mistakes. 10th standard means it is expected that he should be able to do addition, subtraction very easily. Similarly, rules and the anarthas, you cannot, the advanced devotee cannot have anartha. He should be a pure devotee. He cannot do mistakes. So material contamination cannot be there for Raganuga devotee. What to speak of Ragatmika? Nowadays, Kali Yuga, they imitate Raganuga devotees. So we should be very, very careful. Okay, read this yellow part.
Sometimes someone is found imitating such devotional love, but factually he is not freed from anarthas or unwanted habits. It has been seen that a so-called devotee proclaims himself a follower of Nanda, Yashoda or Gopis, while at the same time his abominable attraction for mundane sex life is visible. Such a manifestation of divine love is mere imitation and has no value.
विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिन रसवर्जं रसोप्यस्य param दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. So we have to have that higher taste. If we have lower taste, then we guarantee that we don't have higher taste. Somebody pure devotee who is relishing a higher taste, that means he doesn't have lower taste. Once when I was working, I heard one example. If somebody is eating stool, means he didn't taste the taste of gulab jamun. Somebody who has tasted gulab jamun will not try to taste stool. Can anybody, we see both they are relishing? Huh? Do you ever see certain people are enjoying stool also and gulab jamun also? 1 teaspoon in the plate, full feast, 1 teaspoon of stool will make everything reject. Similarly, in pure devotional service, even little sense gratification will be, make everything, all service attitude will become contaminated. Like Chota Haridas has been banned by Mahaprabhu. Even little bit lusty. So Mahaprabhu would like to show that. So nowadays, like many examples like Asaram Bapu, many other people, they are considering themselves very advanced, but they cannot control, they cannot follow 4 regulative principles. Then what is their advancement? Prabhupada used to tell in one morning walk, ये बीड़ी फूकना बंद नहीं करते साधु बोलते, गुटखा खाना बंद नहीं कर सकते साधु बने. He cannot control his own mind and senses. What kind of devotee? Yes. No? Devotee means who can control the mind and senses, not conquering outside. How many big temples, how many big kings he has preached, that is not important. How much his sense control is, that is very important for bhakti. There is somebody who tells himself as Raganuga and doesn't follow 4 regulative principles is not at all a devotee, advanced devotee. You should not consider. Okay, here, green.
When one is actually spontaneously attracted to the loving principles of the gopis, there will be found no trace of any mundane contamination in his character.
There will be no contamination in his character. So this is the qualification. So we read now eligibility for spontaneous devotional service. You cannot tell, Prabhu, thoda bahut chalta hai Prabhu. थोड़ा बहुत चलता है, कहाँ से चलता है थोड़ा. ये ऐसा begging चीज नहीं है. So one should be very advanced. One should not be carried away by these things. And one should frankly admit that I am having these things. And when we are taking guidance from superiors, we should frankly express. सत्य जो बोलता है वो साधु होता है. जो छुपा था, एक डिवोटी बोल रहा था, है ना, वॉइस में 4 माला करो 16 माला हो गया बोलो. अरे कितना दिन तुम चीटिंग करोगे, कृष्ण के सामने थोड़ी तुम्हारा चीटिंग काम करेगा. Radhisham Prabhu tells that you cannot pass a stool in the pant, but smell will come. When you pass a stool in the pant, if you cover it, smell will come. So anarthas you cannot imitate. You cannot imitate pure devotees with anarthas. One day it will come. Freely mixing with women and dealing with money and dhanam, janam, sundari. These 3 are ultimate test for character. If you want to see what is the character of a person, give money and see. If you want to see more test, if you give more followers and see. वागोली में एक आदमी इस्टॉन खोल दिया, इस्टॉन बोला है. So people will open their own organizations separately from ISKCON. So very dangerous. We are here to become Dasanu Das, not Bossanu Boss. One of my uncle was asking, when you are going to be guru in ISKCON? Our training is not to become a guru. Our training is to become a servant. Somebody asked, even saffron people in India, people ask, what is your package? Are you working? So they don't know what is the meaning of saffron. So I said, 0 lakh package. We serve freely for our Guru and Krishna. We don't take any salary. So people cannot digest. Their mind is completely without money. Means how can a person live without money? So they are engrossed in the karmi life. They think everybody will be like that only. So therefore, in the beginning, everyone should strictly follow regulative principles of devotional service according to the injunctions of scriptures. Scripture पढ़ना पड़ेगा और गुरु के आज्ञा को पालन करना पड़ेगा. That is Vaidhi Bhakti. Only this, after the stage of liberation from material contamination, can one actually aspire to follow in the footsteps of devotees of Vrindavan. Basic condition is one should be free from all material contamination. Okay, can you read what Rupa Goswami says? 1 minute.
Ankush Prabhu, you can continue from here.
You can read quickly. We don't have more time. We have to.
Ankush Prabhu. Uh,
When one is actually liberated from material contamination, he can always remember an eternal devotee in Vrindavan in order to love Krishna in the same capacity. And developing such an aptitude, one will always live in Vrindavan, even within his mind.
So one should always, if we are getting affected, one should accept I am not a Raganuga devotee, I am a Vaidic devotee. So we should remember such devotees and one should never be contaminated by. How this material contamination comes, you know that? How material? By bad association. One should never ever associate with sense gratification people. You know? Yositam sangi sangam. Tamodwaram yositam sangi sangam. If you associate with sense gratification people, then door to hell will be opened. One should always associate with people who are free from contamination. One should aspire. One should not consider facilitator as only guru or counselor is only advanced. But sannyasis, they are even more advanced. One should hear from them attentively. So many years of practice and saying no to sense gratification. And they are relishing happily in bhakti. That is very important. So this is a qualification. Okay, read this. What is the purport to understand what Rupa Goswami said? Purport is given by Prabhupada. Okay.
The purport is that if it is possible, one should go and physically be present at Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan, and be engaged always in the service of the Lord. Following the devotees in Vrajadham, the spiritual realm of Vraja. If it is not possible, however, to be physically present at Vrindavan, one can meditate anywhere upon living in that situation. Wherever he may be, one must always think about life in Vrajadham and about following in the footsteps of a particular devotee in the service of the Lord.
If you are not physical, like Prabhupada went to America, so on the order of Guru, he went to America. But their devotees used to tell, Prabhupada, you are not happy here. So then Prabhupada said, yes, I left my Vrindavan there. No? But one can remember Vrindavan and still we can live in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada said, I carried Vrindavan with me in the mind. Okay. Read this quickly.
A devotee who is actually advanced in Krishna consciousness, who is constantly engaged in devotional service, should not manifest himself even though he has attained perfection.
So that even nowadays in India, everybody, even non-devotees know that we should not express our bhakti to everyone. हाँ मैं हर दिन 64 माला करता हूँ. हाँ मैं 120 माला करता हूँ. Why people tell to attract more followers, to attract others? One should not express our bhakti to everyone. Only to one person who is a superior. If he doesn't want us to do that, we should not do. For that is the purpose where we have to express. Others, You should not tell how much I am advanced. आज मैं सुबह 1 बजे उठ के जप कर रहा था, ऐसा सबके लिए जरूरत नहीं। आज मैं एक्स्ट्रा माला किया, मैं एकादशी को निर्जल करता हूँ, ये सब किसी को बताने का नहीं। One should remember, one should in there, one should express always as a neophyte devotee or fallen devotee. I am most fallen, bro. Still I get lusty desires. Still I am not free from material contamination. Huh? So what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung, আমার জীবন সদা পাপের নাহিক পুণ্যের লেশ পারের উদ্বেগ দিয়াছি কত দিয়াছি জীবের ক্লেশ পর সুখের দুঃখী পর দুঃখের সুখী। See, I enjoy when others are distressed. I will be morose if others are happy. So that neophyteness should never show I am advanced devotee. Okay, why we should not show? Read this yellow part.
The idea is that he should always continue to act as a neophyte devotee as long as his material body is there. Activities in devotional service under regulative principles must be followed even by the pure devotee.
Like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is more than saffron sannyasi. But still they are Babajis. They never dress like renunciate, but they are renunciate. Huh? So, but to tell that we are under Varnashrama system, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said we should not imitate Babajis. We have to follow Varnashram. We are under Varnashram, Vaidhi Bhakta. So, read this till last.
But when he realizes his actual position in relationship with the Lord, he can, along with the discharging of regulative service, think within himself of serving the Lord under the guidance of a particular associate of the Lord and develop his transcendental sentiments in the following that associate.
So one should try to practice being under one person and trying to please him. We should practice from now only. Wherever under whom we are kept, we should try to please them. We should accept what their guidance, what they are guiding us. For example, small things we can follow guidance. We may not follow big guidance, at least small. Oh, can you do the service first and then go for your work? Okay, accept. Or some devotee tells, don't go for yatra. Okay, can I go later? Yes. So try to follow at least one superior, where you will be under one person. Then we can go directly under pure devotee. Otherwise, it is very difficult. We have to practice being under one person. Okay, can you read this? There is one big warning for us given by Rupa Goswami and Prabhupada. While we are discussing about Raganuga and Ragatmika Bhakti, there is Siddha Pranali people. What is that Siddha Pranali people? Sajiyas, imitating pure devotees, but they are not free from contamination. Okay, read this.
In this connection, we should be careful about the so-called Siddha Pranali. The Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized and who have manufactured their own way of devotional service.
Read.
They imagine that they have become associates of the Lord simply by thinking of themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. The so-called Siddha Pranali process is followed by the Prakruta Sahajya, a pseudo-sect of so-called Vaishnavas. In the opinion of Rupa Goswami, such activities are simply disturbances to the standard way of devotional service.
So this is a Prakrita Sahajya. Like if you go to Barsana, many people, men are wearing like sadis, and they think themselves as a gopis. And some neophytes maybe get attracted. Oh, they are like gopis. So they are sahajiyas. By just wearing a sari, one will not become a gopi. But one should follow the regulative principles. One should have that higher taste. So we should be very careful about this Siddha Pranali. Read this.
Sri Rupa Goswami says that learned acharyas recommend that we follow the regulative principles even after the development of spontaneous love for Krishna.
Read.
According to the regulative principles, there are 9 departmental activities as described above, and one should specifically engage himself in the type of devotional service for which he has a natural aptitude. For example, one person may have a particular interest in hearing, another may have a particular interest in chanting, and another may have a particular interest in serving in the temple. So these or any of the other 6 different types of devotional service, remembering, serving, praying, engaging in some particular service, being in a friendly relationship, or offering everything in one's possession, should be executed in full earnestness. In this way, everyone should act according to this particular test.
So eagerness comes when he has a taste. Somebody is very eager for chanting. Somebody is very eager for hearing. So long distances they go like when we were in working. Radhanath Maharaj was giving class. Whole Pune is to go for hearing. That eagerness should be there to hear from spiritual master. So that is very auspicious. That service should not be forced. Service should be eagerly done in advanced stages. So these are the qualifications which is for spontaneous devotional service. Anybody has doubts in this? You can mention some names also, we can see. Premanand Maharaj and so many people are speaking about pure devotion and everything, Radhe Radhe and everything. So we should not be attracted by such people. He is appreciating Asaram Bapu. How a pure devotee can appreciate a karmi who is having material contamination? That means he is also like that only. One should not hear on the name of advancement, one should not hear here and there. If somebody has material contamination, we should never associate. ISKCON, they have purity. If somebody is giving, if somebody is authorized by ISKCON, is a pakka devotee. Something, if he is having any problem, we can inform to their authorities. We must. There is an authority for him. If there is outside ISKCON, there is no authority. They can do anything, whatever they like. You should never attract by outside ISKCON. And Prabhupada has given everything for us. This is the eligibility of spontaneous bhakti. Okay. In doubt, Prabhu? Aditya Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank
Yes.
you for these amazing points. Prabhuji, one point you had mentioned about one should not express bhakti to everyone and anyone. That we generally follow. Am I audible? Yes. Yeah. So that we generally follow, but if expressing our targets, our means whatever we are trying to do, and we are trying to fulfill that targets in Krishna consciousness, and then showing that to our authorities, counselors, obviously single counselor only. So will that not be also become a factor of maybe by that also
Why
we
we
may
have to
get
express to them? am I doing right or wrong?
Yeah.
Sometimes we may be chanting more, but there is some service undone. So superior may engage us. We have to follow authorities.
Okay.
Whatever they say. This is higher level also you need to follow. Raganuga devotee has to follow a Ragatmika devotee. What you cannot ask which scripture you are telling. You cannot ask reference because his telling means you have to follow. Right? So the trying to follow the devotee, we should practice it.
Mhm.
You know, not to show off. We have to, if once every Ekadasi I used to do Nirjal. My counselor said no. But I went to my Guru Maharaj and asked. My Guru Maharaj said, I will never recommend my disciples Nirjal.
Okay.
Then it is a complete blow. Got reference, and then I stopped doing Nirjal.
Mm.
So we are not here to express more, but I used to tell frankly, Prabhu, I am doing Nirjal.
Mm.
So he used to tell me, and he will observe me whether am I doing service properly, my health perspective, everything they will see, no?
Okay.
Not to show off.
Mm.
That is good to express our superiors.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
We will see now. Next part. So we cannot consider anybody and everybody who is having dadi and who is speaking who has more likes in YouTube. They are not pure devotees. One day the original color will come out. You know? So no, we should not be like outsiders, motivational speakers, attracted by motivational speakers. Motivational speakers are for neophytes. You know? We should be relishing by reading Shastra. Yeah. One should go more deeper. Yeah. Okay, conjugal love. This devotional service following in the footsteps of gopis of Vrindavan or Queen of Dwarka is called devotional service in conjugal love. Now, this devotional service in conjugal love can be divided into two categories. One is direct and indirect. Direct means without any medium, we go directly to Krishna. In both these categories, one has to follow the particular gopi who is engaged in such service in Goloka Vrindavan. Without following a devotee, you cannot go directly to Krishna. To be directly attached to Supreme Personality of Godhead in conjugal love is technically called Keli. Keli performance means to directly join the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are other devotees who are not Keli. What is their behavior? They cannot go directly to Krishna and offer something or talk to Krishna. But they feel shy. But they always. But there are other devotees who do not wish direct contact with the Supreme Person, but who relish the conjugal loving affairs of Lord with gopis. Such devotees enjoy simply by hearing of the activities of Lord with the gopis. They would like to simply hear and appreciate. They like to hear. But if you ask them to go in front of Krishna, no. So, okay. Can somebody read this from here?
Vibhu Prabhu.
Such such devotees gradually Priji here from this development. This development of conjugal love can be possible only with those who are already engaged in the following the regulative principles of devotional service, specifically in the worship of Radha and Krishna in the temple. Such devotees gradually develop a spontaneous love for the deity, and by hearing of the Lord's exchange of loving affair with the gopis, they gradually become those attracted to these pastimes. After this spontaneous attraction become highly developed, the devotees is placed in either of the above mentioned categories.
So, gradually developing spontaneous love for deity. First of all, deity. Then, deity is equivalent to Krishna. But deity will not tell to you. But when you are practice nicely serving deities, then you are advanced. So one should not get bored in worship. Like Prabhupada will never be bored. A senior advanced devotees will never feel bored about service. Should always be eager. Such devotees gradually development spontaneous love for deity, and by hearing Lord's exchange of gopis, they gradually become attracted to these pastimes. Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela. One should be attracted by these four. Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela. Okay. Read this.
This development of conjugal love for Krishna is not manifested in women only. The material body has nothing to do with spiritual loving affairs. A woman may develop an attitude for becoming a friend of Krishna, and similarly, a man may develop the feature of become gopi in Vrindavan. How a devotee in the form of a man can desire to become a gopi is stated in the Padma Purana as follows. In days gone by, there were many sages in Dandakaranya.
Okay, that this much. See here, this development of conjugal love for Krishna is not only for men, a woman. Can conjugal Madhurya Rasa is only for gopis? Only for women? Can men have Madhurya Rasa? Can men have Madhurya Rasa with Krishna? Krishna embracing and having Madhurya Rasa with some yogi, with Dadiwala. Is it okay? Can Krishna dance with some yogi who is beard and everything? Madhurya Rasa. Can man have Madhurya Rasa? Those who see the bodily futures cannot enter into the pastimes of Krishna. Those who are under the impression of bodily consciousness cannot, is not qualified to see the pastimes of Krishna. So, material body has nothing to do with the spiritual loving affairs. A boy or girl or animal or tree or anything Krishna likes can embrace anyone. So, even a man also can aspire for Madhurya Rasa. Example, Padma Purana quotes that Dandakaranya pastime. So that pastime, you all know that pastime. How many of you know this pastime? Dandakaranya pastime. Of Madhurya Rasa. Some sages. Okay. Okay. Some people doesn't know. Okay. Many of you don't know, no? Okay. Okay. So we should be very. There are different levels of gopis. That is a Rishichari gopis. Example, there are some rishis who aspire for pure devotees. There are no material contamination of they aspire for Krishna's attraction. So that is not material, it is spiritual. That is called, it is not only for women, they have Madhurya Rasa with Krishna. So Dandakaranya is a place. Dandakaranya is Maharashtra, Nasik. That is called Dandakaranya. In that place, there was one pastime. Rishi-chari gopis, Muni-chari gopis, Devakanya gopis. Devakanya means some spirit. There are some gopis in Swarga. They aspire for Madhura Ras with Krishna. So there are different levels of gopis. Rishi-chari, Muni-chari gopis are of Dandakaranya. In Dandakaranya, some sages saw the form of the Lord Ramchandra and they got attracted. Then can somebody read this loudly from here? Quickly.
Vibhu Prabhu, you can continue.
Dandakaranya is the name of the forest where Lord Ramchandra lived after being banished by his father for 14 years. At that time, there were many advanced sages who were captivated by the beauty of Lord Ramchandra and who desired to become a woman in order to embrace the Lord. Later on, these sages appeared in Gokul Vrindavan when Krishna advented himself there, and they were born as a gopis or girlfriend of Krishna. In this way, they attained the perfection of spiritual life.
So these rishis, later on when Krishna appeared, but they are not original gopis. Original gopis are Ragatmika Bhaktas. These are who are wanting to follow the gopis, Raganuga devotees. So these original gopis are never be contaminated by material things. But these sages are also free from material contamination, but they are like Raganuga devotees, trying to follow Ragatmika devotees. So they got birth in Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, this you can read this story. Quickly.
The story of the sages of Dandakaranya can be explained as follows. When Lord Ramchandra was residing in Dandakaranya, the sages who were engaged in devotional service there become attracted by his beauty and immediately thought of the gopis at Vrindavan who enjoyed the conjugal loving affection with Krishna. In this instance, it is clear that the sages of Dandakaranya desired conjugal love in a manner of the gopis, although they were well aware of the Supreme Lord as both Krishna and Lord Ramchandra. They knew that although Ramachandra was an ideal king and could not accept more than one wife, Lord Krishna, being the full-fledged personality of Godhead, could fulfill the desire of all of them in Vrindavan. The sages were also concluded that the form of the Lord Krishna is more attractive than that of the Lord Ramachandra, and so they prayed to become gopis in their future lives to be associated with Krishna. Lord Ramchandra remains silent, and his silence shows that he accepted the prayers of the sages, and thus they were blessed by Lord Ramchandra to have association with Lord Krishna in their future lives. As a result of this benediction, they will all took birth as a woman in the homes of gopis at Gokul. And as they had desired in their previous life, they enjoyed the company of Lord Krishna, and who was present at that time in Gokul Vrindavan, and perfection of their human form of life is thus achieved by their generating a transcendental sentiment to share the conjugal love with Lord Krishna.
So they were Dandakaranya forest. Rishis were aspiring for conjugal affair for Ramchandra, but Ramchandra accepted only one wife, so he rejected. But when Krishna came, he is more attractive than Ramchandra. They all took birth in the womb of gopis and then they became naturally attracted with it. So this attraction is very important to Krishna. Okay. This conjugal love is also divided into two types. One is conjugal love as a husband-wife and lover and beloved without marriage. They are more advanced. So see, the affection is where more is there. Official husband wife has more attraction, or the boy and girl who are not married has more attraction. Yeah. So, which is more attractive?
Not married.
Huh?
Unmarried boys and girls.
Unmarried.
What we call it as in Sanskrit?
Swaki and Parakiya.
Parakiya ras and Swakiya ras. Swakiya ras means husband wife. Authorized. But Parakiya ras is highest. Like, Radharani, why Radharani married to Abhimanyu? To show that love in lover and beloved is even more exalted. That marriage is not of great value. So we respect Radharani more than Lakshmi or Rukmini. That affection is more. That conjugal love. Okay, read this blue color and then we can continue. Quick. We have to complete this.
Chandrabhushan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. One who develops conjugal love for Krishna as a wife is promoted to Dwarka, where the devotees becomes the queen of the Lord. One who develops conjugal love for Krishna as a lover is promoted to Golok Vrindavan, to associate with the gopis and enjoy loving affairs with Krishna there.
So
We should not care.
who will take birth in the Dwarka, who develops conjugal love for Krishna as a wife, they go to Dwarka. There, 16,000 wives he got married. So that marriage, that is, are like husband wife. And they are who are having love, a lover and beloved, they take birth in Golok Vrindavan. Okay. Read.
We should note carefully, however, that this conjugal love for Krishna, either as a gopis or as queen, is not limited only to women. Even man can develop such sentiments, as was evidenced by the sages of Dandakaranya. If someone simply desires conjugal love but does not follow in the footsteps of the gopis, he is promoted to association with the Lord at Dwarka.
So, if somebody simply by desiring, if men and women are not important, bodily consciousness doesn't matter. What matters is consciousness. So, once I was reading Krishna book, this Bhagavatam, I was reading Bhaktivedanta. So, one place I heard Jiva Goswami writing that Lord Krishna never utilizes his genitals under this anus. It is like absent only. No? So, this is not a very, like Krishna doesn't utilize those things. No? So, Krishna is no physical sex, no contamination at all. It is spiritual rasa. It is not like men or women. No sex. Woman hai to bhi sex nahi hota hai. There is no physical contamination at all. Man or woman. Madhurya ras is very advanced stage. So anybody can desire simply conjugal love, but does not follow in the footsteps. But follow in the footsteps of gopis is promoted to the association with the Lord at Dwarka. Simply. Okay. In the Mahakurma Purana, it is stated, great sages who were the sons of fire gods rigidly followed the regulative principles in their desire to have conjugal love for Krishna. As such, in their next lives, they were able to associate with the Lord, the origin of all creation, who is known as Vasudeva or Krishna. And all of them got him as their husband. ऐसा बहुत सारे examples है. Even men also attained conjugal affection for Krishna. Okay, parenthood or friendship. Devotees who are attracted to Krishna as parents or friends should follow in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj and or Subala, respectively. Nanda Maharaj is the foster father of Krishna, and out of all of the friends of Krishna, Subala is the most intimate in the Vrajabhumi, in Vatsalyaras. So, in development of becoming either the father or friend of Lord, there are two varieties. One method is that one may try to become father of the Lord directly, and other is that one may follow Nanda Maharaj and cherish the ideal of being Krishna's father. So the other two, out of these two, the attempt to directly become father of Krishna is not recommended. Such development can become polluted with Mayavadi philosophy. The Mayavadis or Monis, they think that themselves are Krishna, and if he thinks that he himself has become Nanda Maharaj, then his parental love will become contaminated with Mayavadi philosophy. We should always be under some devotee. If you are not under some devotee, there is a Mayavad contamination. The Mayavad philosophical way of thinking is offensive, and no offender can enter into the kingdom of God to associate with Krishna. In Skandapuram, there is a story of an old man residing in Hastinapur, of Pandavas who desired Krishna as their beloved son. The old man was instructed by Narada to follow in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj and thus achieved success. So, we should follow as an assistant of Nanda Maharaj. We can show affection to Krishna. There is a statement in Narayana Vyuha Stava. Prayers that persons who are always engaged in thinking of Lord as his husband, friend, father, or well-wisher are always worshipable by everyone. They are always worshipable. If those who have affection for Krishna, they are worshipable. This spontaneous love for Krishna can be developed only by special mercy of Krishna or his pure devotee. ब्लेसिंग ये नहीं कि 50 लाख का पैकेज मिलेगा, ओरेकल में जॉब मिलेगा, गूगल में जॉब मिलेगा. This is not the mercy of Krishna. This is the mercy of Krishna. Spontaneous love for Krishna. This is called special mercy. Prabhupada used to tell, if anybody would like to come and meet, always, Prabhupada, do you want my special mercy? This is my special mercy. See, you want to become like this? Some karmis will go away. People will fear for this. This process of devotional service is sometimes called Pushti Marga. Pushti means nourishing. Marga means path. Pushti Marga. Such development of sentiment nourishes devotional service to the highest standard. This is called path of nourishment or Pushti Marga. The Vallabhacharya Sampradaya, which belongs to Vishnu Swami's sect of Vaishnava religion, worships Krishna in Pushti Marga. Generally, devotees in Gujarat worship Balakrishna under this heading of Pushti Marga. But this is not for us. We are Kishore, we worship Kishore and Kishori Radha Krishna. 16-year-old Krishna and Radharani. We worship young Krishna and young Radharani. We don't worship Balakrishna. In our ISKCON temples, you will never see Balakrishna. We are not Pushti Marga. We are following Madhurya Ras. Our path is Pushti Marg, if somebody wants to worship, they don't wake up Balakrishna at 4:30, at 4 o'clock. They wake him up they tell, we are Pushti Marg. We wake up Krishna after 6, 7 o'clock. So we are not Pushti Marg. We cannot keep Balakrishna deity. If you are Vallabha Sampradaya, okay. We cannot worship Balakrishna. Our altars. Our mood matters a lot. Our mood is Madhurya Ras. Krishna and Radharani in the 16-year-old. Have you ever seen any ISKCON altar, Laddu Gopal? No, that is Pushti Marg. Okay. So we completed 16th chapter. Any doubts in this? 15th and 16th chapters. So go through this, because nowadays so-called advanced devotees are becoming so much famous. We should not accept sadhu based on number of followers. Dhanam. How many temples he has, how many followers he has, how much beautiful his body is. That we should not see. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. So advanced devotees are never materially contaminated. Prabhupada used to tell, I can see naked and never get disturbed. That is the level of Srila Prabhupada. So should follow Prabhupada. We should follow Vaidhi Bhakti given by our acharyas. Okay. If you don't have time, if you don't have any question, then we can end here only. Then we can discuss 17th chapter.
Guruji, I think there is one question in the chat.
No chat. I'll stop sharing. Okay.
By
Hare
Anil Prabhu.
Krishna. As you said, we should not have to hear outside ISKCON, because if they appreciate Karmi, then they also show color in one day. How to understand these points? It means we have to prejudge the person without interaction or hearing. It is looking like we are biased or prejudged and consider own self on very high position, and we are ready to discard the great saints also, which may be pure or not. How to understand these points? Please clarify. Okay, so we are not judging anyone. You cannot judge the person whom you don't know. But if somebody appreciates material contaminated person, means what? If some ISKCON devotee is a very famous devotee, he has many likes in the YouTube, and if he is appreciating Asaram Bapu, immediately GBC will take action, right? But somebody who is not, why he is appreciating Asaram Bapu? Something who is breaking 4 regs cannot be appreciated. If somebody is pure, even in outside ISKCON, we will appreciate, but we follow ISKCON because we respect and we don't judge. But if somebody breaks 4 regs or appreciating somebody who is breaking 4 regs, we will not appreciate that. We will clearly, boldly correct this. He is not a pure devotee. Why is appreciating a person who is materially contaminated? And we are not a judge for them. We don't need to judge others. But for our aspiration, we should not aspire from such people. We are so many sadhus in ISKCON. You see Loknath Swami Maharaj, how nicely he sings Kirtan. How pure devotee he is. I feel so much appreciation. You see, Radhanath Maharaj, even from foreign, is such a nice devotion. What we lack in ISKCON? We have everything in ISKCON. But outside ISKCON, we don't guarantee. You should not hear. If you hear, then there may be a chance of material contamination. But ISKCON, even if there is a contamination, GBC will take action. We are under complete pure protection. GBC is our protection. You know? So we don't need to criticize them, but we should always, we don't know how pure they are or not, but in ISKCON we can give guarantee because GBC tests everyone. Outside ISKCON we cannot guarantee about purity. Right? There is no authority for them. They have to boldly tell, I will follow Forex. I never break this thing. I am always completely attracted to Krishna. Then no problem. Yeah? Even GBC also will appreciate. If GBC tells to follow him, you can hear from them. Hearing means following them. Right? Without hearing, how we can follow? Okay. Is that doubt clear, bro? We don't need to criticize or judge others, but it is for our internal purpose, I am telling, to always be safe in green zone. Green means 100% guarantee, success. Okay? Is your doubt clear, bro? We don't criticize even Mayavadis so much on outside. We don't go and tell every followers of Vivekananda Sai Baba that hey, you are fool and that this. We don't need to tell. It is for our internal purpose.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Okay, bro. Thank you very much. We'll see next chapters next week, 17, 18, 19. We may cover in the next week, maybe a last for this NOD. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhakti
Jai.
Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai.
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 Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you.
Yeah.